Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. I'm Brian Winnikins, and we continue our spotlight of our area dairy farmers with the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. And this week, we continue our spotlight with the Steyer family and Elf-La-Long Farms. And joining us this morning is Karen Steyer, and we're going to find out about how the farm cares for the young stock, the calves, and even the cows too. And Karen, I thank you for joining us with us again, and thank you to Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin too. They are one of our sponsors for our spotlights. So Karen, with the young cows, you're kind of in charge, and here at the farm you kind of have two locations. You have the newborns, and then you have the calves. So we'll start at the newborns. The newborn calf is born, and what are some of the things you do to care for that calf then right away?
Well, right away we make sure the calf gets colostrum within a half hour of being born, and it more than likely is not the same colostrum from its mother. We freeze all the good colostrum. All the colostrum here is tested. It has to reach a certain percentage on the the Brix test, and if it's not high quality that we want, we have a powder that we can add to it so that all the nutrients are in that first feeding of colostrum that the calf is given. It's given 1 gallon of colostrum within that first half hour, and then it's put under the warming light, and then twice a day we move the newborn calves up to the other barn, and there's a pack, and those calves are kept there. They're fed there at least 2 feedings, then they get milk replacer. And Dave and I and the kids will take care of the calves here at the main farm, and we watch them, make sure they're quote-unquote up and going well before we move them over to the heifer facility. Every other day we will move 6 heifer calves to the heifer facility just to maintain numbers, and it's easier to manage instead of all of a sudden one day you're taking 12 calves over there or something like that. So we take 6 calves every other day, and we breed the bottom 60% of the herd to beef. So those beef cross calves we keep here at the farm, and we sell those 3 times a week. A buyer comes in, and we're able to sell those beef cross calves.
And so you give that newborn colostrum, and do you have to, it's to protect the calf for their immune system and that sort of thing. Do you do also vaccinations then right away?
They get a Nasalgen vaccination first, and then when they move over to the heifer facility, there's a protocol over there that they follow pretty strict on the vaccination program.
We're talking with Karen Steyer this morning as we continue our spotlight on the Steyer family farm, Elf-La-Long Farms. And thank you again to Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. I know a lot of folks will ask, why do you take the calf or move the calf from the mom away so quickly?
For us, it's a large safety issue. Cows can get very protective with their newborn calves, and you can have the most docile cow most of the year, but as soon as she has a calf, some of them become very protective, so we do remove the calf from the cow right away. Makes it safer for us, safer for the animals as well, and it's just the way we operate here at the farm. We just like to remove the calf right away and then take care of the cow. She gets her calcium boluses, is checked over by our employees to see how she's doing after she calves, and can get moved out into the fresh cow pen and be monitored out there.
And when they move to where all of the other calves are, if I remember correctly, this is an indoor facility?
Correct. It is an indoor facility. We have a separate pen for fresh cows that they are able to stay up to, if need be, 2 weeks, depending on how that cow is quote-unquote getting up and getting going. We can monitor her, and then when she is eating good and everything is looking good for her, then we can move her out into the main facility for the milking cows.
Talking with Karen Steyer this morning with Elf-La-Long Farms. The Steyer family is our spotlight farm this week with Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. Karen, you do a lot with the newborns and the calves, but let's talk about the milking cows. They have a pretty nice facility. You have a very nice facility here. And one of the things I've always noticed in talking with Dave over the years as well is, weather permitting, they like to keep the walls or the outside of the barn open. Everybody gets to see what you're doing every day.
Yes. We do have a cross ventilation barn, which allows us to have the curtains open facing the road most of the days of the year if it's warm enough. And mostly it's for cow comfort to have the barn open, but we do like it that people can see the cows as they are driving by as well.
And it's kind of become like almost, for lack of a better phrase, a cult classic here with folks from the Elmwood, if they're driving to Menominee or back and forth, folks along Highway 72. They kind of watch the herd, and there's been times when they've called saying, hey, we see something, and that's nice, though, that they call and say, what's going on?
Yes, it is. Knock on wood, we do live in a very good community, and people do watch out for us, and if they, once in a great while, if a cow is out or something, they will give a call and say, hey, this doesn't look quite right, so that is nice that the community watches out for us as well.
Also, too, here at, for the milking, and we'll even talk with Dave a little bit about that, I always call this facility, you have a really cool merry-go-round. And I have been here before for different events. I have seen cows fall asleep on that thing.
Yes, on our rotary system parlor, the cows are quite comfortable, and if you watch them, it does look like they're falling asleep. They're on there chewing their cud, and they're just very relaxed on that rotary parlor.
And it's very easy for your employees and even for the safety of the cows, the way you have this set up, because there's like one station for each part of the milking process.
Correct. The cows come in, they're automatically sprayed with a pre-dip, then they move down the parlor a little bit, and there's a person that wipes the cow clean, make sure there's no mastitis or anything. The next employee will apply the milking machine, and then the cow just rides for about 8 minutes on the rotary. When the milk flow is 2 pounds or less a minute, the vacuum shuts off, the milk machine automatically retracts, and when she gets to the end of the parlor, there's another a post-dip automatic spray, and then she's free to leave the parlor and go on her way.
Sometimes, though, they don't want to leave. I have seen this before where you have a big black curtain, and that's kind of to let the cow know, okay, the ride is done. But I have seen before that it does happen where it's like, no, I'm kind of enjoying this ride.
Yep, we have had cows that have rode around 3-4 times in a row until someone physically makes sure they're off that parlor and on their way back out to the barns. So.
And of course, the next cow that's wants to get on the ride's like, hey, wait a minute, this is my turn, get off. The other interesting thing I've always seen in the barn where the cows are, they look like the brushes from the old style car washes that I remember as a kid that the cows can use to scratch their backs. They love those things.
Yes, it's rare that you see those brushes not being used, but they're great. One, it's for cow comfort. If they have a scratch, they can just go bump that brush and it automatically starts up rotating. The other thing is it does keep them clean. It keeps that dust off their back so that in the summer it actually helps keep them cool because that dust does not form a crust on their back and that doesn't trap the heat in so that they can, quote unquote, keep cooler with that brush as well.
Now that I did not know. Talking with Karen Steyer this morning from Elflalong Farms. We'll continue our spotlight of the Steyer family and Elflalong Farms tomorrow. Dave will be back with us, and we're going to talk about some of the things the farm does to protect the groundwater. And Dave's got a lot of experience in this as well. He's done a lot of things even with Dung County as well. We're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow with our spotlight with the Steyer family and Elflalong Farms. Thank you to Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. You're listening to WRDN.